Hey, apologies, folks. There was just a power cut on our Technomancer's end, but he got back to us right quick. Thank you, ESCOM. That is the wonders of load shedding in South Africa. Um, but yeah, yeah, Dave, rather fitting. Because like in ShadowDark, when the lights go out, you're fucked. You're dead. So I actually think rather fitting. Yeah, I think that is the RPG gods have taught us a lesson there. So yeah, the meeting
Characters
is
die,
getting
we die.
underway. Yeah,
Stays that way.
exactly the last person to arrive is the druid Toll of Drea. They're not sure when I got cut off, but they are very short, even for a halfling, shriveled to the point of being described as walnut-like, with waist-length braid of frizzy bone-white hair. It's just all over, strands all over the place. Light brown skin, covered in dark freckles and hairy moles, with moss green eyes, and they are wrapped in layers of undyed wool, making them appear more robust than they are, kind of like the bulk of feathers of belying an owl's thin frame, and they have dirt, just dark dirt caked beneath their fingernails. They come in with a big grin on their face, wrinkled as all hell. Um, and once things have settled down, people have gotten drinks. A tankard is thumped rather loudly on the counter. Daglin um, shouts above the din of his neighbors and said, all right, yeah, settle down, you degenerates. And then, there's a couple of whispers and the children, child kind of says something, Mummy, I went, shh. It was deathly quiet. Boot prints on the ground, and you see the elder Griselda Vaughn standing there. Has a weary look in her eyes, but a smile on her face. There's friends, neighbors, good folk of Sixwidows, and visitors. You're all welcome. As you know, rather dark times lay ahead. So-called Crimson Queen has just made her way through Shadewater, and I remember Tullov, and points to the druid, Tullov's eloquent words that they spoke at the vigil we held for our fallen neighbors. Can only hope that they've escaped into the wilderness, gone to ground, and we may soon meet them again. But if we don't meet them now, we will meet them again in the beyond when we return to the earth, sprout anew from the ground. But tonight is not a night to speak of death. Tonight is a night to speak of life, to fight for life. And that is what we will do. It's what we have always done, and what those that came before us did. Now, we haven't much in the way of defenses, but Iran, and he points to the blacksmith, and some others, as have already been working on getting barricades up. Brilda has salvaged what weaponry that could be had from the area, but we are woefully short of implements of war, though scythes are being hammered into pikes, pitchforks will be taken up. We could do with more, especially in the way of armor. Now, we've all heard the stories about Orwin's Keep and the armory that lays buried beneath those still stones. What we need is a party to go up into the hills to the keep, plumb the ruins, and find the armory, bring back what they can. Now, Brilda and Ellie have lent us wagons and mules so they can be brought back, but we're going to need volunteers. We need everybody that we can spare here, but if if half a dozen of you could be rounded up, and I know it's dangerous, but do we have any volunteers? I would go myself, but I have drills to instruct. There's much to be seen to here, and I need to points to a few young lads and lasses, young folk there with some proper weaponry. There's a short sword there. There's someone has a short bow. Said I have to teach these ones which is the pointy end and how not to shoot themselves in the foot. And they kind of laugh, you know. The elder is herself wearing a long sword at her side. And she looks actually first of all over to Warsan Thelma and is saying when she's saying, you know, we have anyone who will make the trek to Orwin's Keep and bring us back some steel?
I'd say Warson would stand up. I came here to help people, and if that's how I can help you, then you have, and I gesture towards my long sword. You have my sword.
And she
From
taps her own hilt and she says, I knew I was looking in the right place. The Knight of Brave
from
Saint Taragnus.
from
And
from
I
over near
I
the
bow. Mm.
from over near the bar, Bobbin had kind of ducked down behind somebody a little bit, and then a deep, gruff voice comes out going, "What's in it for us?"
Someone from the back of us, you just hear someone say, slap her on the back of the head. So, you know, someone gives her like a hiss, a boo, like, oh, God. The elder looks, she knows who Bobbin is. Says,
Lantana
well, I'm sure
is.
you could dig. Oh, yeah, sorry.
No,
Sorry.
no, no, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I'm sure you could dig something shiny up out of the keep. As far as I'm aware, nobody's been down there in quite a long time. But I tell you what, you know, if you bring something back, let's call it 3 gold pieces, you know?
Each?
Oh, it's in each. Oh, well.
No,
Uh,
no. Warson says that almost in shock because that's
yeah,
how she interpreted it.
yeah. You know, says, well, and then someone laughs. A few people, you know, and there's no like, I couldn't do that, but you know, I'll have a dig around the treasury. We can see what we can muster. If it's coin you're after, if you're risking your neck, fair enough. And she'll have a talk. She turns turns to someone. There's a rather short human that she calls over. Those who visitors would really know, more locals, more people who've been here a lot longer. He is something. It's a very loose, you know, term. He is kind of something of a treasurer. You know, they kind of have like a bit of a you know, a like a local council. You know, um,
Mhm.
so she whispers something to him, and she just says that she'll see what she can do. She'll work it out. She doesn't have like an exact figure at the minute, but she'll see what you can do. There will be coin in it. Sorry, T. Lantana was.
Lantana's just going to like speak up and say, "I'll do it."
and then uh somebody says, and oh, and what do and what do you want? And then somebody says, well, I caught a nice fat trout yesterday, and they kind of laugh, you know, um, and they you will be told that there will be they could spare 6 gold pieces, which probably feed quite you would feed a number of families for for a couple of weeks. Um, is there anything in it for Lantana? Is she going to respond, or is she just or are
Uh,
they rather? Sorry.
well, as some of you know, uh, my father was killed by some of these marauders, so
Hmm.
I want vengeance. If gold can be spared, I'm not going to turn my nose down at it. However, I want heads and blood.
Yeah, and then you hear a few people are, and then somebody as an older man, he says, "Tyranno, Tyranno." There's clinking. Uh, so yes, blood,
That,
and one of the others, yeah, rattling sword.
yeah, that kind of noise and rambunctiousness definitely would get Vara going. She just
Yeah,
like she'll stand up and take the great axe, put it on her shoulder, and just be like, because she'll also notice the height of Bobbin as well, and she'll be like
yeah,
thinking to herself, going, "Oh God, yeah, yes, okay."
yeah,
So she'll just stand up and going, "If you need help, I am here."
yeah. There's a clap. Somewhere. Fucking hell! The giants come down from the mountains.
You'd be like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
wielding the great axe over
And
her
she
shoulders.
said, yeah.
Oh.
There is also a couple of of people have sort of been nominated, you know, uh, people that, to just kind of go and run the carts. Um, but
Vara
as
will
she was
definitely
saying, is
look
there
over though as
anyone?
well. Sorry.
Is there anyone else?
I think Winter will, at all of this, she'll just kind of roll her eyes, and she has this really small little dagger that she uses to kind of turn the pages of her books and whatnot. Looks more like a little paper knife, but she'll slam her book shut and kind of do a little toss and tuck it in her pocket and say, "Well, I guess I'm coming too." More so after hearing Bobbin's response, and that there might be just countless things there that people haven't explored. She's not really interested in the money, but I don't know. There's something
Yeah,
that she feels like she needs to sort of protect or
nice.
uncover.
Oh, Solo, thank you very much. That is a boon for winter there, Nico.
Thank you.
So,
Once they've all kind of declared their intention to go, Bobbin will weave her way out from her little corner where she was lurking, and just kind of eye them all up. And she's like, "Yeah, okay, this doesn't
yeah,
look like I'm gonna
sorry.
die, and what a
Yeah,
great chance to loot the place." So
yeah, sorry,
I'll
Bob and
go
Weave.
leave. Yeah.
As Nico as Winter, is saying that as well. That Alice Honeywine, the healer and the physician and a voracious reader herself, she kind of leans over and she says, Orwin wasn't much of a reader, just in terms of what might be. There's not a great library in the keep, but she that is about as much as you've heard her say in as many weeks that you've been here. Um, except for when you got a splinter or something, she spoke very few words, and she seemed to be almost irritated to having to patch you up, treat to prevent an infection.
I'll
Um,
give her an appreciative snort of laughter, and I'm still sticking with the cause.
nice. So, yeah, that is you have all volunteered yourselves at some for coin. So there will be, as said, I rolled as high as I could. There will be 6 gold pieces in it for you. It was a good harvest. Brilda and Ellie have got some good coin for they'll run a lot of the sort of manufactured or more luxury good, like in the same way that Ellie, might sew or knit, things that maybe there might be somebody does whittling and they may say take that to the market, in the Vale towns or even beyond into Brynholm, and into like depending on whether there's conflict going on, it has been slow to the south. But when times were generally a peaceful, and again more even recently, uh, because of the stirrings with the Ironbloods, they wouldn't go there. They wouldn't go to here to Dul, but out to one of the close cities here to the southeast, like Dul, like they would go to the hobgoblin towns. They do survive. The goblinoid towns, the hobgoblins tend, like humans, tend to live on the plains and near woodlands. Goblins, like dwarves, kind of tend to prefer the underground or their warrens. It tends to be where they make their home. One of the main reasons that Peck is living here, which is he, as a young goblin, dreamed of the open sky and birds, and there's not too many of those underground. And the bugbears are more common to the mountains, like the orcs and the Highlanders. Their shaggy fur makes them well suited to the mountain climbs. But yeah, they will even trade. They will trade with the hobgoblins. I mean, they're usually at war with each other, not with the Vale for centuries, although that has unfortunately changed. So, a night of revelry will be had, such as it is. Um, you've all gathered. So before sundown and before bedding down for the night, is anyone doing anything in particular? Are you gonna you chatting to any of your fellow um scouting party?
Would it
Question.
be within reason for Winter to be talking to Griselda and the healer, and whether they might have any helpful scrolls that I could learn a spell from to protect this group better on our journey?
You can certainly ask them. The druid.
More so guide them in a conversation that would lead them to that conclusion, as opposed to just
If you approach them, well, I think well, give me just give me a charisma check. Um, 10. Okay, 10. Um,
that
they
rule
see
just got stuck on my screen.
yeah, no, it came up. It was 8 plus 2 for a 10. They they're quite preoccupied, and Griselda says, she says, oh, it's very kind of you to volunteer. I'm not sure how much of interest there'll be for you up in the keep, but it'll be very much appreciated. Someone with arcane talents will be quite helpful. Can help on that front. I'm afraid you're the expert on that one. And then Tolov the Druid is saying, I. Oh, Rope Seller has subscribed at tier 1, sub for 3 months. Thanks very much, Rope Seller. Or Roper Seller, sorry. Nice one. Thanks very much.
Thanks for subscribing.
So they, Tolov is saying, I'm afraid our magic's rather different, yours and I. They can't offer much help in that department. I might have had a potion or two tucked away, but I'd best keep them for the battle that's to come. And you lot look like you can handle yourselves. Especially that, and nods at Vara, and points their crooked, wrinkled finger over at Bobbin, and that. Wily
Takes a
folk we
timid
are.
step away from Bobbin, which is just quite
Yeah.
familiar with Bobbin.
Mm. But unfortunately, no, they can't help. They genuinely wouldn't have any arcane scrolls. Certainly not any sort of wizardly magic here that they could help you with. But there's always a chance there'll be something in the keep. Is anyone else doing anything in particular in the inn?
Ara,
Like
Yes.
before?
I guess,
sorry,
really.
go ahead.
I'll introduce, like, Winter will be going around just sort of getting to know the people in our
Yeah,
group.
actually, you know what I'll do is since we are playing in ShadowDark and it is appropriate, um, turns would generally be taken outside of combat in order. I'm not going to get super strict about this. Initiative is as they say always on in ShadowDark. So
Cool.
if you roll initiative, I'm just gonna it's and also because my brain goes everywhere, it is a good visual reminder just to suppose who has kind of had a turn, who has done something, said something. It just gives a little reminder in my thing. I'm just going to let's say since Nico since Nico went, we can put them at top. But let's have or I suppose let's have everyone roll anyway, and we'll go from wherever Nico landed with Winter. So initiative would be again it would be plus your dex. Sorry.
How do we
Yes.
roll?
Yeah, I'm looking for my character on my character sheet as well. I don't
Okay.
know.
Is it
Is there, if
D20
it's
plus
not a
dex?
yeah, if there's not a specific command on the character sheet, it'll just be
Yeah.
what you call it? Yeah, it'll just be dex.
Okay.
D20 plus
D20 plus dex. Okay.
Hey.
And another thing, as we're crawling, as you'd say when you're not in combat, um, if we are moving along and sort of someone's over here and someone's over there, and we don't want to go through the cycle, we can do something called regroup, where we just say any PCs that are within earshot and eyesight of each other, we can just sort of move freely. You just kind of um, take that round, like that round is spent just rearranging ourselves, however we want, as opposed to like trying to, get everything back in perfect order. So let me just I just want to make sure it is yeah, I just wanted to triple check. Yeah, it would be Dex. So oh, apologies, I've lost where did they go? So sorry, were rolls made? I was just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh God, the numbers have disappeared on me. I'm sorry. Do people remember what
I
we
got
had?
22.
Okay, I
17.
just realized actually I'll need to put tokens
Got a 7.
on the map. I'll do I'll do it just manually here for now. Sorry. So, let me just go around. Go from Vara. Kira, what did Vara get?
I rolled 11, and then is it just add the dex? I've got
Yeah.
12. Then
Yeah, so was that plus one?
23.
So, oh no, I add the Dex mod, so
Oh,
plus
sorry,
the
1. Yes, 13. Sorry, or 12. Sorry.
12. Yeah. What did
Maths,
Bobbin
not my
get?
strong suit.
22.
Um, Warson.
So Warson got 17.
Okay, 17. Winter.
I thought I rolled a 1, but I can't figure out where to look to see what I did.
Say, yes, but and Lantana.
I got a 7.
Does it keep track of them in like a chat, sort of like a
No,
roll
if
20
you
episode?
no, unfortunately not. So we might have to be more. I think if you don't click away, like it shows them up, but on the rolls made directly off the sheet, it shows up for a brief moment, or if they're not clicked away, then I can see them here by the dice tray for a yeah, for a moment. Well, or until they clicked away. Sorry, T. Lantana had. Did you say 7?
7, yeah. I only
Is
rolled
that
a 6, and my
okay?
mod is 1.
Okay, so we'll have that's fine if Winter will be down at the bottom anyway. So we'll have Bobbin.
I think I rolled 1 the first time.
Yeah, uh, Bobbin, Warson or Sumler. Then Vara, Lantana, and then Winter. So, Bobbin, what is?
Bobbin is probably just kind of chatting to some of the locals about the sacking of Shadewater, and that is everyone gone? Is the place ruined, or is it just empty, or have they taken it over as a camp kind of thing? Like,
Yeah. Um, sorry, I'm missing. I just went into chat. Yeah. So it seems that Shadewater, as far as anyone has been able to tell, like there's been no word. The druid Tolov cannot cannot make contact with Shadewater's druid, which they normally do. They're able to sort of reach out through the land, and it's not precise, but there was Tolov felt something of a, disturbance in the force, and they've seen smoke. They can't. No one has come to Sixwidows. So it's possible, they're kind of hoping that maybe people that did survive may have scattered into the woods. They may have gone up into the highlands, which even some you're hearing people say that is kind of the plan B that Elder Vaughn Griselda has instituted, which is there will be people, um, the willing and the able-bodied will will do their best to defend, but beneath the hill that the six widows stand on, it is a hollow hill. There's a secret entrance that only the druid and some select few know. The children, the infirm, those unable to fight, or some individuals that Elder Griselda has said sort of would be best. Whispers are that Brilda and Elliot are going to, because supplies may be needed, if they are to survive, the trade network, they may need to get things to them. They will go below the hill, but that if all is lost, it will be a case of fleeing into the highlands, and maybe seek refuge. You're hearing that Drakkengrave is the where the proposed refuge will be. Whether or not Drakkengrave will take them all in, but that is where they will go. That is what Bobbin is hearing. So Bobbin is saying that Warson Sumler are priests. What is she doing?
So I'd
If
say
she's doing
Warson.
anything.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Warson's actually going to speak to the blacksmith Irvin and
Mhm.
ask if he has any if he can probably like sharpen her sword just to make sure it's my sword rings true, and if I can still do it in my turn. I also want to speak to the elder Griselda,
Mhm.
because she also seemed to recognize my faith, so I'll actually somewhat
Mhm.
desperately ask her, is she also a believer? Is she also a follower of Saint Agnes? If not, does she at least have something to share with me?
Mhm. Of course. So I'm actually I might throw in something. I've kind of been playing around with a bit of ShadowDark homebrew,
Oh,
because Iran is. So I've been playing around, and I may those watching I may there's a couple of things I want to sort of put out, playtest free versions. Or if anyone is here or watching from ShadowDark, the official ShadowDark Facebook group, or might have seen it on the Discord from a while ago. You might have seen me sharing, um, homebrew classes and things. One thing I like the idea of was sort of general talents, so that any class, maybe with prerequisites, but like any class could take in place of a class talent role something. One of which was an edge smith, or the ability to like sharpen weapons that you would train, but I've considered having it in the games as like something the blacksmith could do. So a skilled blacksmith. So Iran, I think, yeah, with his whetstone, and he is a very skilled smith. So this isn't something that just anyone would be able to do. He can sharpen an edged weapon to with razor precision. So sharpening a single weapon, it'll take a number of crawling rounds. Well, and this is more of a mechanical thing, but for now, if he could spend time, he will be sharpening what weapons they have.
Yeah.
And what it'll do is a sharpened weapon. It will give a +1 bonus to attack rolls, but that in ShadowDark that does not include, you don't add your stat to damage. So you'll get a +1 on attack rolls with that weapon for a number of hits equal to, well, I suppose it would be equal to Iran's level, but he would just be like, he's a first level character, we would say, a minimum of 1. He would technically be a level 0 character. He's not an adventurer. So basically, you'll get a +1 bonus to attack rolls until you successfully hit something, So while the edge is, the edge is razor sharp, you got to be really careful. It's sharper than you've ever wielded it, and it's like the first thing you hit, you'll be more likely, but then once you hit, it's gonna, and he will do that. Seeing, now that that's been introduced in the game, if anybody has an edged weapon before you set out in the morning, Iran can do that for an edged weapon. So they'll do that. The elder, I might just you'll go and then approach you. She's talking is talking to Peck, actually, the goblin, and when she's finished, she turns around, sees that you're trying to get her attention. Everybody is at the minute, and she says, well, Saint Taragnus, no, I'm not myself, but if travelers come through, and she's very popular, but she says, no, I don't, but my my father-in-law was he was a believer. He wasn't from around here. He was out from the north, but he had a she forgets the name, but she had a symbol of Saint Taragnus, sort of like that one. He had so what I'm looking for, token. He had a pendant, but I mean, it's only sitting there in my house. It'll probably do more good in your hands. And she says, actually, my father-in-law, his grave. If there's an old tree in the graveyard, and it's there's a face on it that looks like old Hamish over there. The not a real face, but the knots. It looks like it's got an old face. He's buried. He's buried near there. Galen was his name. But he's got the sword of Saint Taragnus carved on his headstone. If it's about the closest thing we've got to a shrine to her, I'm afraid.
That almost instantly lifts Warson's spirits. You have no idea how much that settles my spirit. Thank you.
Good. Glad to hear it. It says, excuse me. She goes, is attending to somebody else. Vara.
around at everybody, and what she will do is, after hearing about Lantana's suffering, she will just go over to kind of offer her condolences
Yeah.
and just to basically say that like I'm very sorry to hear what happened to you, and I'm happy to help you on your mission. And she'll just not to overstep or cross anything there, and just kind of like, if you would like to have a drink in the honor before we head out, I would be most happy to join you, or just buy one for you. If not, and kind of like look around to see if the others will just kind of gather as well, but just be like, come on, guys.
Cool. Give me make a charisma check just to see
This is not going to go well.
sort of presence Vara has. She's a
Are
hulking
you?
wallflower.
Yeah, because I'm like wondering, are you like hovering over
No,
just like
she's aware of how tall and how like overbearing she can be. So she's like, the axe was on her shoulder, so it'll look like go straight down and just she'll just go over. How do I do this on the?
So, let
Sorry.
me see. So it'll be so
If you open your
if you
sheet.
see
Yep.
on the sheet
Yep.
like the 6 stats to the top
Yep.
left. Yeah, I think if you just am I right in assuming if you click the mod, like the
Yeah.
modifier, the black square, does that roll?
That would help. A 9.
9. Okay.
Thank
Um
you.
I it's
Not good.
No, it's I mean it is ultimately up to the other players. I was just interested to see to see how you it's not very, convincing. It's like probably looks like she's looking for somebody or something. It's kind of like but yeah, obviously any
Awkward.
of you are free to respond. You don't have to be influenced
Yeah.
by the role for your interpersonal decisions.
Lantana is just going to look at Vara and with genuine kind of openness and say, thank you. The loss has been difficult for my family. I am hoping that we will be able to exact vengeance and hopefully maybe bring him back one day.
I like this plan, and I will help how I can. And then Farah will just kind of just sit down at a table, like in the middle instead of at the bar then, and just await the night.
Yeah,
Lantana will take a seat as well.
yeah. Well,
And
it is land. We'll come to Lantana now as we it was they were up anyway. So yeah, is Lantana doing anything else in particular with their time?
just before they actually take a seat, they're going to go to the bar and ask for something a little bit stronger. And they'll like have a bottle of it. And in exchange for that, they're going to lift this basket of like foraged stuff that they found in the forest and hand over a bunch of some of the materials to the barkeep. And just go and sit down and say, and offer Vara, would you like a slightly stronger drink? And tell me a little bit about what brought you here. Not many outsiders visit, so to speak.
But I
Vara's not much of a drinker, I'll tell you that much.
just one thing, just before Vara responds, just as a bit of Nika with Winter's turn, will Winter, do you think she will be staying keeping to herself, or would she join a table with Vara and Lantana? And with that in mind, since this would be the last kind of the end of the round, would the others would any of the rest of you join the table? Because we could then kind of regroup, and if you wanted to have a group conversation just after Vara, so you can have a think about that as Vara is
Winter, absolutely.
responding to Lantana.
Once she recognizes.
Yeah.
Once Winter recognizes the good intentions of the group, yeah, she would have
Yeah.
come and kind of sat down and probably brought a tray of waters or something polite.
We could say whoever is going to join the table joins as Lantana has asked, and Vara is about to respond. If she is going to respond, unless she is, you know, um, shy about it, or it's all these people, I don't know.
She's not had much going on, kind of thing. Like she's not a drinker, but she will accept because it's the polite thing to do, and she'll just sniff it and just be like, "Oh, thank you very much." And she'll just explain that she heard of the town meeting, she heard of the sufferings of other people, and she wants to protect her family and the people up in the mountains, and she doesn't want to occur a losses Lantana has suffered, and that is her main reason to help people get some closure and to help.
Yeah.
And it's basically that.
Yeah. And who knows when, once the Crimson Queen, she's run through Shadewater, once the Vale has been picked clean, it could be the next nearest place. It'd be up into the mountains. Who knows where
That's what she'd be
her
very
bloody
worried about.
crusade will stop, yeah.
And
So
yeah, that's her main mission.
those regrouped with all of you around the table. Is there anything else to say as a group? Are we going conversations that want to be had, or are we drinking into the night? Or
Did we have to regroup this fast?
no, you don't. Bobbin can
Bobbin
keep
had
to
more
herself.
questions.
Oh yeah. I'm just that with the rest of kind of because you'll start the round anyway, So if everyone is, would Warson join the table or stick to herself?
Say Warson would be a bit tied because she now wants to go to that gravestone, but also wants to give others peace. So she'll join the table as Winter brings those glasses of water. She'll defer to get a glass of water instead, and she will look at Lontana and also say, "If you allow it, may I say a word or pray for your lost father?"
I'm not sure if your patron would answer said prayer, because I assume it's Saint Agnes, correct?
It is. Yes.
Yes. I will heartily accept your prayer. Thank you. It's very kind.
Yeah. I'll have my sip of water and quietly, wish well to Lantana's family and whatnot, and then keep looking outside, thinking about that gravestone.
As you do so, Nelly, would Warson make a wisdom check, please?
Oh, damn. What did you do? What are you gonna do to me so soon? I just arrived. I just arrived. So just a wisdom check. I'll just do that and hope for the best.
Yeah. Well, it's more ambiguous. There are only checks, no saves.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not even a good roll.
Yeah, you don't sense anything in particular. You say it, but it's a prayer you've said, 1,000 times. It's heartfelt. You mean it. But you don't. As far as you're concerned, the Saint Agnes's blessing has been given, and you know. As that is going on, and the night is waning, some people have left, gone to bed. Many people here look like they're in for the long haul. Though probably won't be there that long because it is going to be early to rise to prepare the town. But what is then? Bobbin had further questions.
Yeah, so Bobbin wanted to just in the same vein, she's going to continue kind of talking to people, the locals, and now she's trying to find out if anyone has been into the keep in recent times. Like she grew up not far from it, so she would have spent a bit of time in there.
Mhm.
But it's been a while. So she is kind of somewhat curious as to why nobody has gone looking for what might be found there before, or what state the keep is in these days.
Yeah. I would say, well, I mean, if you're into, just give me a general charisma check, um,
Oy. This won't be good.
just to see if people are gonna, yeah, if
Oh,
people are
it's
gonna
not too bad.
Oh.
15.
15, if they're gonna try to
Wow.
grubby bobbing. Well, I mean, that's if you don't have good, 15 is that's a hard check in ShadowDark. 9 is easy. 12 is because it's all a little bit, more so than some D20 games. Yeah, nine is easy. Generally, 9 easy. 12 is sort of average. Then 15, 18, as opposed to kind of 15 being kind of average in 5e. So yeah, no, it's good that everyone is. You're not really used to people being this kind of friendly and opening up, but people are a bit sloshed. Everyone is a bit more. The guard is kind of down a bit. It's not really know what's going to happen, and it's the point of being hush hush. We could all be dead in a few days. So no, as far as it does seem that you're not hearing, to be honest, anyone really. There's kind of no whisperings of anything mystical in the keep. It was a military outpost. The reason they're sending you there is because there would be. So I mean, so the stories go. No one has checked in a while, but of course, great. Grandfather always told me that his granddad told him that a lot of stuff was left behind in the keep. There was a store of weapons and armor. Things were left, or so it goes. Um, but the armory is it is underground. It is in the basement level, the dungeon level of the keep, and in this world, as you're all too familiar with, in places beneath the earth, and in the blackened corners of the world, that the shadow dark lurks and reigns supreme, and in the shadow dark are things that want to cut you down and rip out your liver and eat your brain and carry your soul down to
Love
the
it.
hells. It is.
So
Yeah,
good.
down is
Good.
not a
Me.
direction you want to be going in the world of
Mm.
ShadowDark. Yeah, I mean it's just fear of what may be lurking. There are out in the wilderness, there are monsters. Uh maybe as simple as getting attacked by an owlbear, as it would be common enough knowledge, I suppose, though people would rarely want somebody bring it up in polite company. But the elder, Griselda Vaughn, her husband was killed by an owlbear some years ago while they were both out hunting, and she nearly died herself, gaining her scar. But she managed to kill the owlbear, but could unfortunately not save her husband. So she did stagger back into the town, pressing her hand against her bleeding neck, and was barely, to be honest, if not for Alice Honeywine being such an able physician, much better than the Vale would be used to. Her knowledge of anatomy, which she learned in the Nordhaven, the northern capital. Yeah, that Griselda probably would have died. She might have made it back to town, but although of course many would say she survived on tenacity alone. One of many reasons she was uh, voted to be elder when the last elder died. Um, yeah, nothing. But I mean, certainly, hey, I mean, there might be, stuff in there you could flog. Everything's got a price. Be useful, useful bits and pieces. Maybe there'd be some, some. It was a military outpost, but it was also, there were noble warrior, well, such kind of nobility or that the Vale would have had. So, you know, maybe you know, some nicely decorated weapons. Who knows? There might be the tapestries aren't moth-eaten, you might get some of them. Might be a few bits and bobs, but dreams of piles of gold and gems or magical items are not looking. They're looking more like the fruits of of childish imagination. The things that you dreamt about being buried in Orwin's Keep. Of course, it was a big pile of rocks close to where you grew up. So of course you imagined all manner of treasures and dragons and you know demons lurking beneath it.
Cool.
So, is anyone else want to do anything in particular with the night? I know Warson, presumably before taking to bed, will visit Galen's grave
Yeah.
to a nightly vigil. Does anyone else want to do anything particularly before resting?
So at some point, like when everybody's together, I'd love to just kind of go and give them a brief rundown of the history of the area and stuff, just so they're a bit more aware, and also try to impart some knowledge on the local flora and fauna so they don't accidentally try and eat something that should not be.
Yeah, and I think certainly between Lantana's knowledge and Bobbin being familiar with the those few hexes, as we'd said, she had grown up in a village near Ormond's Keep, because it was built near what was probably at once a more prominent town. It will be easy enough. Plus, you've got locals here from Sixwidows. There'll be a couple of people helping to drive the carts and, load up what you find. Got two, or three. Sorry, the 8 of you go all together, so you've got 3 kind of red shirts with you.
Bless those red shirts.
Yeah,
They're gonna need it.
Yeah, why are all these guys wearing red cloaks? And what's that? They've got there's a pin holding their cloak on. It looks like an arrow or something. What is that? An arrow. Yeah. So you will set off in the morning. It'll be easy. Bar maybe.
I would like to get my dagger sharpened, please.
Yes, I will. So take it then in the morning. Before setting out, you will all have freshly sharpened dagger from Iran. Who will that is it's a +1. It'll be a +1 on your attack rolls with that sharpened edged weapon until you hit, after which you've carved into a monster with that steel, and that very fine sharpened edge will be dulled just to its usual razor-ish sharp edge. Last thing I think, so then if that is the last of it beyond Warson, you will at some point before bed have made your way to the modest boneyard of Sixwidows. It is actually in like an orchard of trees, or a copse of trees, an orchard growing fruit, and there's no fruit growing. But they are flowering trees, and most of them do not have a headstone. They have epitaphs carved into the trees. But in one spot, actually buried, you see, you recognize the family name Vaughan. It is matrilineal in the Vale, so the family name, it was taken. The husband appears to have taken Griselda's family name. It's kind of based on the who owns the land, essentially. Well, they don't. No one owns the land, but where you're from, Sixwidows. But so you recognize his Griselda's deceased husband is seemingly laying in rest next to his father and mother, but you can tell the father's grave because it does have at the base of the tree in its little section does have a stone headstone with the
Oh,
mark of Saint Taragnus. So as well
okay.
as Six Widows tradition, he was a worshipper of Taragnus. He was, so there is it's something of a little shrine, with some dried flowers that have started to, in all the chaos and despair that's been going around the last, recent weeks. Doesn't seem that anyone has been able to change the flowers over Galen's grave. Though there are flowers growing all over. Actually, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they put flowers there? There's flowers growing there. Never mind. It's nothing there.
Random flowers. I'll just
Don't
pretend they're
mind
like
me.
random flowers. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. I'll just go there, get some comfort, maybe meditate a bit, and I'll go back and join the rest for the night.
Hmm. Well, make me one more wisdom check.
No, I don't wanna. Okay, wisdom, you better do your job. I got an 8.
Okay. More
Can
so than
we?
when you were sitting in the pub, in the inn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do feel closer to Saint Taragnus,
Okay.
because it's not that same feeling you got in the where you would pray in the abbey, in the nave, the main, like, or in the chapel of the abbey, that it's not quite the same. You do still feel, despite having that personal connection to Saint Taragnus, sometimes the nagging thoughts do worm their way into the back of your head as to whether they were right to banish you. You know, as Saint Taragnus turned her back on you. But there is some comfort in that, and you swear as you make your way to your bed for the night that the air which had been still for a moment, the breeze swells, and you feel a petal from the flower which grows on the tree above Galen's grave just brushes past your cheek. The wind goes dead once more, and it flutters to the ground. And
I'll
now
take it. Yeah.
all of you bedding down for the night. Some in the inn. There are very few beds. I presume Winter has probably have secured herself a room in the inn all those weeks ago.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, others, sleeping beneath the stars or with, as often was the case in such times, you would with townsfolk, villagers who have opened their doors to you, sleeping on a warm floor somewhere, or lantana, I'm sure, in a shrub of some kind.
Yeah,
No, I don't.
I'm just like sitting up in a tree, strapped
Yeah,
down.
yeah. Just no, wherever. Yeah, you make your bed, and you with anticipation and maybe even a little excitement at the prospect of adventure and apprehension, dread at what lays on the horizon. You do eventually fall into a deep, if slightly troubled sleep. And on that note, I think we will take a brief intermission. We will see you in five minutes. Come back because then it will be off upward into the hills towards the ruins of Orwin's Keep, and let's get some Let's get some steel.
Roll
so-
for hangovers.
Yeah, we will see. Yeah, exactly. We will see you in 5 minutes. So please do stick around and thank you for sticking with us thus far. Yeah, we'll see you soon. Welcome back. We're just about to brave the ShadowDark. Is this music playing? It wasn't.
Not
It's
hearing anything.
I'm not hearing it on my end. That is disappointing. It seems to be like it says it's playing, but anyway. Let's
The Gene, you might have to. Oh yeah, it says that I need a special add-on to listen to the sound.
No, sorry, but Christian, it should be playing on the oh, what is it? Is it playing now it's playing multiple tracks, I think. I don't know. Oh, it's playing both at once, that's why. Um so
Accidentally
apologies,
clicked on
folks.
the little ticker. It says time is running out, flashing ominously. It's set up to
That
kill
is
us.
Get you in.
now.
Damn.
Yeah.
What?
So okay. What is Oh my God, sorry. This is like freaking out on me. Um sorry. Um so oh my God. Sorry, folks. Um we are So as you can see, we are here. No, that's the drawing tool. Pointer. As we are here in Sixwidows, Orwin's Keep is just up here. It will not take too long for us to get there. And the way you know the way, you know the way very well. So it's no issue. Now these hexes, rather than being 6 miles as per the rules, I messed up and the I messed up and the scale's a little larger than I wanted. So instead, these hexes are going to be 1 mile. So it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not it's not too long. You can walk. You can walk a hex in. Oh, actually, no, I've done my calculations wrong.
It's kind of a couple hours journey to the keep.
Time. Sorry, I had this in my notes, and now I've lost it. It's deleted. Apologies. Overland travel in any system has always given me headaches. It's nothing to do with it's the problem is me. So yeah, but it's only a few hours of a trek. A little bit slower with the carts and the mules, you know. But it's you get there eventually. You have had all your weapons sharpened, as discussed by Iran. And yeah, you are on your way. It's not exactly first light. You have had what breakfast could be scrounged up. And you have is a human man, looks to be in his 20s. He's dark skin, short hair, and a short cropped beard. There is a male halfling with very long blonde hair, and then a human woman who seems to have a scar running across one of her eyes. She is looks to be her late 20s. They are going up the mountains with you. They will be helping to take everything back with you. But after you've made the trek up to Orwin's Keep, the stone edifice crumbling there before you, it's like scattered bones, about the hills. And there's a strange sort of fog descending that morning. It's making the trees look a little sinister and skeletal in silhouette behind the ruins. and is now starting to creep over the stones and the moss um, of Orwin's Keep. You can see, Bob, and you're very familiar with the place. That the only remaining building that's remained standing is sort of a little squat building with a tower attached. The doorway to the tower is collapsed, as is the very top section of the tower. Um, there are a few arrow slit windows in it, but the squat building does have double doors, which they're reasonably intact, surprisingly. They seem to be sort of hanging on, one of them actually seems to just be sort of leaned against the frame. They are covered in mold and mildew and moss, but there the doors stand, and that is supposedly, anyway, where the armory is. Orwin's Keep stands before you. What is everybody doing? Well, we can once we are inside, we can change. We'll change to the gridded map.
Someone should check the structure. I'm not going in there until we know that it is safe, but we should set up camp somewhere dry.
Vara's very good at taking instructions, so she will. She can look for somewhere.
Wow.
Maybe she'll look for somewhere dry that everyone can be safe and happy around.
And I'll encourage someone to go try the doors. I'll stand a little back from them though. Someone stronger want to test the doors out?
I mean, Vara can try.
Standing there.
See if there's any give on them.
Ooh.
Would there be any magic though? Would she be kind of cautious with the fog and everything around, being like,